The reason I didn't try to write something sort of dryly academic or a monograph, as you call it, is because I don't know what any of those things are. I know what storytelling is, so that's what I do. So what I decided to do was tell the story in the way that I hadn't before, because I told it in a monodrama way, which was a performance, public. His painting by Gainsborough is very public and a bit of a performance with that big red waistcoat and his look. And the letters, of course, are going to be read publicly because not many people could read, so the man or the woman of the household would read it. So there's sort of a censorship behind all that. His music, which is sort of dance music, public dance music, again, it's a sort of performance. And I wanted something intimate, and the most intimate form of storytelling, in my opinion, is the novel. Why? Because if you can, to plug my own book, if you can decipher the hieroglyphs in here, and you catch a word like moonlight, and the setting pops into your head, that's a picture that's indelible, and it's unique to you. It hasn't been mitigated by a director of photography or a style of a director or a casting decision. It's just your mind taking this abstract word and making it into an image, and it's perfect. So I wanted to do that, and because you can almost whisper into the ear of the reader, you can get very intimate and detailed. There's very few forms of storytelling that can give you the sensuality of a novel as well. So you can, if the writer is capable, smell where they are. You can almost taste, feel where they are. You certainly should be able to hear where they are. And for me, that's the whole wonderful sort of transformation that can happen between word and the mind in storytelling, which you can't get on stage and you can't obviously get on screen. You can get close, some people are brilliant at it, but you can never quite get what you can get when you're all alone reading a novel. I mean, every night is different. We've only done it 4 times in performance, and if we counted, because we've all got day jobs, the 3 of us, Michael Vale, who's a co-director and designer, Ben Park is my composer and actually also deeply collaborative since 2010, actually. There's a sense in which each audience affects what we do. We've learnt that as we built it, but we've only really done, I would say, if we gathered all the weeks together, the hours together, about 2 weeks of rehearsals, where normally you'd get 4, 5 weeks to rehearse a play. So the play almost forms itself on the night. There are a couple of boundaries that we have. I love to talk about the portrait and how I discovered him. I love to read the beginning of the book, his origins. And I also love to read the section where he meets Sancho, because it's a contrast with the heaviness of the beginnings of his life. But then I will throw it out to the audience, and they will ask me to read from a certain number in the book. I'll just give them a number. It's rather sort of cheap huckstery kind of thing. But it did work. But it did work. But then you can get caught because you know, oh, I don't know what the section is, or I can't just read that section because it's a whole thing I'll have to explain, and you have to sort of find your way through it. So each night Ben is playing not simply underscore, but he's pushing me sometimes, and he'll throw a sound in, or he'll throw a musical sting in that will cause me to listen. And the more we've done it, the braver I've become at breathing and allowing the music to take us, and it becomes very cinematic between the 2 of us. But the symbiosis is also with the audience. I've always tried to be alive to the audience more and more in my working life as an actor, and they will demand certain things. Speed, they're ready, or just slow down the wall of words, let us contemplate. And so actually last night was all about hunger for knowledge. There is a kind of lethargy behind events like this. Oh, what's the point? Well, the point was last night, how much the historians got from it, how much the creative writing students got from it, and how much any of the arts students would have got from it. And even if you were on a technical course here, to understand how you communicate science is also important. So a little bit of that, how you communicate a story that's quite complex and large. So yeah, I'm so pleased to be here. I mean, Birmingham University, I will always consider to be the home of Stuart Hall, the sort of champion of cultural studies, which you'd be desperate to find now in this country, since the arts and the humanities are being so stripped. So I was really glad to bring that kind of story, that social angle, that historical angle, to such a sort of hungry place. This is not just a place of learning, it seems to be a place of collaboration increasingly, which some universities just don't manage. The departments are very separate. But there seems to be a thrust towards a kind of connection with all the departments. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here, and the welcome from both you, of course, Michaela, and Dr. Caroline Radcliffe has been tremendous.